Good afternoon, it's Jim from the maverickstar Observatory. Guys, yet again we have pushed the boundaries a little bit further, and today is really a special announcement for the observatory because we have opened a new door and put online Arizona in the United States. I'm going to show you the data that we've got after the first month's trial run. We just go over to Pole Shift News and scroll down to Tucson, Arizona. We can see our first month or so worth of data, and there you are. You know, despite all what is going on in the world, and it is pretty much captured everybody's attention, COVID-19 virus, you know, we still concentrate on what we are dedicated to dealing with here at the maverickstar Observatory, which is the magnetic pole reversal and the magnetic intensities around different places around the world. And Scott has, you know, took it upon himself to house one of our magnetometers and, you know, collect that data. You remember, guys, he has to put his own timing in this. You know, not a lot of people can do it. As we've seen, some people have started to, and then after a couple of months they've, you know, fell by the side. And that's the difference between somebody committed to, you know, supporting a little group like what we've got here, and somebody that, you know, is a little bit more concerned about their own activities in life. That's just the way it is. You know, we're going to send magnetometers out in the future to people that are up for it at the beginning, and then they're going to fall by the wayside. It's a little bit, you know what it reminds me of? You know, when you're taking natural selection for the SAS or the Navy SEALs, you know, before the month is out, 80% of those candidates have already rang the bell and signed out. But you get a few people, which is like the refined gold, and Scott, Richard, you know, Jeff, Bang, you know, these people hang around, and you know, they and of course let's not forget Tony in China. And I hope you're all right, China, down there in China. You know, I can imagine what's going on, and you know, it's only going to complicate matters, you know, for everybody's day and life there. But you know, we've got some real dedicated people that month on, month out, you know, deliver the data back to us here at the UK. We process it and put it up on the website. It's an amazing effort by everyone, and you know, I can only just say, you know, big thanks to you guys. You know, I applaud what your efforts are, you know, in relaying this back to a lot of people. And you know, we've achieved really a milestone. We are on a micro budget here at the observatory, and yet, you know, we are working with state-of-the-art technology and still managing to, even at a time when the world has come to this pandemic, you know, open up a new station in Arizona. And you know, that's the way I want to continue this year. I said I was going to hit the road running, and I absolutely intend to do that. Our main objection this year is to get muon detectors out, as well as magnetometers and some CO2 detectors, so we can take some readings ourselves on CO2, so we can find out how much cosmic radiation is inbound as a result of low solar output due to the grand solar minimum, and we are facing a magnetic reversal. Guys, I can't emphasize this any more than what I try to. We are going through a magnetic reversal. At this point, we don't know if it's an excursion, but even if it is, the magnetosphere will collapse at some point, and we will be subject, as well as all the biodiversities on this planet, to cosmic radiation that affects you know, your cardiac arrhythmias. It causes cancer in all the species on this planet. We are facing some real, you know, turbulent times down the road. Possibly 3 to 7 years we will experience, you know, the magnetosphere completely diminish, and as it does, more cosmic radiation will be inbound. our first and primary defence are weakening. Our first is our sun. That inflates a heliosphere which pushes away at normal times a lot of the cosmic radiation that's inbound from the rest of the universe. And then secondly, our Earth's magnetosphere is weakening. And as this happens, we encounter more cosmic radiation. We've already seen the effects of what cosmic radiation does to our jet streams on our planet. And as a result of the effects of those jet streams being laden with more water particles because of the cloud seeding, as a result of cosmic rays, we are seeing seasonal shifts and changes that even catch out farmers that have been farming lands for over 50 years. Generation after generation. We're in completely new times, and the reason why it's catching people out is because the last time the Earth went through a completed magnetic reversal was 780,000 years ago, and NASA, NOAA and the ESA all know this, guys. This COVID-19 does not pose the biggest threat to humanity at all. The magnetic reversal has got to be the primary reason that we all pay attention right now to what is going on. This is just, as far as I can see, a test run. Something that affects people globally, and it's a good thing to watch how people react to this. Here in the UK, they're very, very complacent, despite the Prime Minister yesterday saying that you will only be allowed out once to go for the necessity shops. If you need medical treatment, you can go out for that. If you need exercise once a day, we will allow that. And if you are caring for other people, we will allow that as well. And that is the only reasons why we are now locked down in the UK, and we have to abide to that. And there will be penalties to pay if you're caught out for no reason other than just gallivanting. And we have to abide by this, because there is a peak coming, guys, with this virus here in the UK. Around mid-June to the end of June is the peak, and at that point the NHS system, as much as it is bolstering to support the influx of ill people, it will be inundated very quickly, and we could be even seeing that within the next 2 weeks. The numbers from now on, because of the infected rates that we've got, will exponentially increase, and it's going to skyrocket. It's going to look like a vertical takeoff. And as a result of that, what we've seen now gradually over the last month is going to seem like a very sunny, warm day that is enjoyable. So we have a lot worse to come, and different countries are at different stages. They have different amounts of people in their countries. The capacity is much larger, like America, 300 million. China haven't got this under control. If you believe the figures that are coming out of China right now, they've either got a miracle cure or a magic wand, and we know they've both got none of those. They're very proud people. They're keeping it very locked down to the truth and the reality of what is going on in China right now. But it will be in the hundreds of thousands infected right now, and the tens of thousands dead right now. And that number will continue until this virus works itself throughout the population. And that is what we're going to see from now on in everybody else's country. It's going to work its way through everybody. There's going to be a lot of people. 70-80% of people will recover from COVID-19, but the vulnerable ones, as we are seeing, when they're admitted to the ICU units, they don't very often come out, do they? And if they are, they're in there for 3 weeks. So can you imagine what the chock-a-block we've got coming down the road is? When people start to get administered to hospital, it's going to be, a long rocky road for those. God be with them. Interestingly, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and the world is pretty much shut the houses of God down to everybody, hasn't it? And I just, like this person said, I wonder how God would feel about that. That everybody had been shut out of his house. as a result of what's happening. You know, just if you are a religious believer, you know, I'm not embarrassed to admit it, I like myself. You know, we have to bear that in mind, don't we? And what times we're in. You know, we are in very precautious times, which have been described in certain biblical texts. You only have to read them to be of a knowledge of that, and ask yourself the question, like my mother asked me the other day, Jean, isn't it odd that, you know, some of the things that are mentioned in the Bible, she's a Catholic by the way, are appearing to be as we see in everyday in life right now? I said, Mum, don't even get me started on this, because I will very quickly adopt my high horse and, you know, go into a conversation which will last a long time. So I said, we'll just leave it there. But in short, yes, you know, I do believe that there is no synchronicity about, or no coincidence about this. It is more along the lines of things lining up synchronicity. So, you know, but everyone will have their different opinions, you know, like they always do on this channel. We get some people that, you know, like what I do, and we get some people that think I'm a crank because of what I do. And I'll just give you a, for instance, someone said, guys, he's making colloidal silver, he's one of them, he's a crankpot. But look into what happens when a virus comes into a single atom of silver. The single cellular organism is destroyed instantly on contact with that silver atom. So with a major virus outbreak like what we've got, I'm quite surprised that only one person asked me to build them a colloidal silver generator yesterday. You know, I did it as a favour. I'm not going to earn a lot of money out of it. Trust me, I'm not going to earn a great deal. We have to buy silver bullion at the highest grade to make those generators. But I was surprised that, two people asked me to build them for them. So, you know, I'll build them, and, you know, I will give it a deadline at 12 GMT tonight. If no one else has come forward and they want one of those, then, you know, that's fine. It's completely fine. You know, I've got a little system that's working well for me, and I'm really pleased with the way it's churning out, you know, colloidal silver. I certainly, you know, couldn't afford to buy colloidal silver made, you know, and that's the way I roll. You know, if I can't afford to do it, it doesn't stop me usually. I couldn't afford to pay manufacturers, design engineers and programmers to build the Trimax system. The only way I could do it for us guys is by building it myself. And, you know, it took me down a road of nearly 2 years of learning how to program to get there, in order, you know, to be in a position to actually build what we wanted. And I didn't make matters easy for myself. As you guys know, you know, I went for the all singing and dancing wireless transmitter, you know, so that the nodes send the signal to the master, and then the master records it on the SD card as it does. And it's worked, you know, remarkably successful, touch wood, for a good 2 years now, as well as the magnetosphere sensors, and as well as the magnetometers that we put in the field. We've done an amazing job really on the budget that we've had. And, you know, just wanted to tell you guys today that despite all what is going on in the world right now, we are still pushing forward and expanding the observatory, and we have now got Arizona, United States online, Tucson, or Tucson, as you guys would say over there. I'm a terrible one for it. You know, I say safe California when it's Southern California. It's just, you know, the difference between you saying tomatoes and me saying tomatoes. And yeah, I'll throw that one in as well at the end of it. You know, can I have a bottle of beer? Because that usually gets you Americans, doesn't it? Okay, guys, you know, in short, you know, we are struggling with the observatory funding. No two ways about it, and it's completely understandable. But, you know, don't leave us behind, guys, and we won't be leaving you behind in the information that we provide on the magnetic reversal and other things as well. I want to just say the reason why I mentioned, you know, the fact that I built the colloidal silver generator was because there is no cure for that disease. that is spreading around our world right now. Not at all. And I just wanted to offer people a little light in that tunnel. You know, that's nothing else. And you know, there are some clinical proven facts about silver, and you know, operations that are used today, you know, in keeping things sterile and things like that. You know, silver's becoming a big key player, even if big pharmaceutical companies don't want to admit it, because obviously it's like cannabis, isn't it? And I don't smoke cannabis, but you know, I don't say nothing bad about anyone that does, because I know that for some people that suffer with some symptoms, you know, cannabis is a cure. Is that a bad thing if they can find something that is a cure for themselves that works when all the other drugs don't? You know, it's like colloidal silver. You know, some people know what the benefits of that are, and you know, at the end of the day, if it was bad, I'd be ill right now because of the amount I've drunk of it over the last few days. I mean, we're churning it out by the litre here at the observatory, so you know, we've got a nice system that delivers a good quality of colloidal silver, doesn't burn out the electrodes, doesn't make the water taste ugly, but when you put a laser through it, it's like looking at the universe. You know, there's plenty of stars out there in the water, so it's a great thing. But there you go. Okay, so I will say 12 o'clock GMT over here in the UK will be the cut-off time, and then tomorrow I'm ordering what I need to make whatever you know, colloidal silver generators people want. We've got 2 to make already. You know, I don't mind if anyone else wants one, I'll make it for them, and if no one else wants one, I don't mind either. You know, I'm just offering it as a service, you know, and a little, like I say, light in the tunnel for a few people that know the true value of it. Guys, here we go. We've got Tucson or Tucson, Arizona online. We're collecting data now from there. We've got things coming up over the next few days. We really need, guys, someone from Brazil and someone from South Central Australia. Please, if you're from one of these regions and you want to join in our little team of people that, you know, submit the data back to us so we can tell everybody around the world about what's going on, then please, you know, message me in the comment section. I read everybody's comments, even the bad ones, and we've had some real bad ones over the last few weeks, which I won't even mention because they're just not worth the time. Such negative and wicked people just ain't worth the time, but they know who they are. You know, but there you go. Just message me, I'll get in touch with you, and we'll get something going together, and hopefully we'll have muon detectors in the short period of time in Brazil and South Central Australia. So I will say one other thing, guys, the link is down there if you want to help support us on PayPal. You can support us on Patreon, and guys, have an amazing day with you and your family, and be safe, and that's it. Simple. Have a good time. I'll say what I usually do. Bye for now.